Hillary Clinton just a week ago or so told Joe Biden, do not accept the results of the election under any circumstances. But you don't ask her that question. You only ask me the question. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Leader, what do you plan to do if President Trump refuses to engage in a peaceful transfer of power if he loses the election?
President Trump will peacefully come to be sworn in again. It'll be a smooth transition, regardless of the outcome. I'm concerned of what I'm hearing on the other side of the aisle. I'm concerned that the Democrat nominee, you asked me a question, if I may. I'll answer your question. The Democrat nominee, Hillary Clinton, has gone on television.
She's not the Democratic nominee.
The last time the Democrat nominee from the last election has gone on television advising the current Democrat nominee, you have the former nominee tell him, never concede.
As we showed you in our last hour, what Hillary Clinton actually said in an interview with Jennifer Palmieri for the recount was that Joe Biden should not concede on the night of the election because there are so many mail-in ballots still to be counted. Joining us now, member of the Foreign Relations Committee, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. Senator, good to see you this morning. I'm curious your reaction, given that you were the running mate of Hillary Clinton, to those comments, but more broadly to the point about what President Trump is saying around this election, that he may not concede, that he may not go peacefully, that he can't say yet whether there'll be a peaceful transfer of power. As you heard yesterday, some of your Republican colleagues in the Senate came out quickly and condemned that in their own way and say, no, we are going to have a transfer of power, including the majority leader. But what do you make of that response from Kevin McCarthy? And he was not alone. It seemed to be a Republican talking point yesterday that, oh, yeah, the nominee from 4 years ago said something in an interview that we're not going to use as more important than what the president said today.
Willie, I think Republicans are very, very worried about what President Trump said. I lived in a military dictatorship in Honduras in the 1980s, and what President Trump is talking about is basically dictator behavior. And I fully expect him to challenge the results when he loses. That's what he'll do. But I just hope our institutions are strong enough to usher him out of office. What Hillary said was correct, which is on the night of the election, use Virginia as an example. If you mail a ballot by election day, they will count it up to Friday, 3 days after. And she is saying, with the historic uptick in mail-in ballots, you need to wait until those ballots come in and are counted before you basically declare where the election is. And that seems to be very, very reasonable, completely different than what Donald Trump, I think, is threatening to do.
So there is obviously well-founded consternation, not just among Democrats, but among Americans about how this will play out, about whether or not Trump will accept the result of the election. So what is your recourse as a senator, and what can Americans expect to happen in those days and perhaps even weeks after Election Day?
You know, Willie, the first thing is the most important, which is just make it as clear as we can on November 3rd and then the days immediately after by voting in record numbers. And we're seeing this in Virginia. We started our early vote last Friday, and there are already twice as many early votes plus absentee ballots out than were cast in the entire cycle in 2016. So I think the key to delegitimizing Trump's efforts to hold on to power and muddy the waters is massive turnout. In the aftermath, we do have to wait and see how these ballots get counted in the couple of days after the election. It probably will be close in a couple of states, certainly maybe in a couple of Senate races. The Senate majority is up for grabs. And so I think leaders are going to have to portray a sense of calm. Our registrars are counting these ballots. We'll have an answer in a few days. We sort of know how the election went in most places. There are a few states or maybe House districts where we don't. We'll have an answer soon. The president will be trying to whip up division. It will be on the shoulders of the adults in the room to try to portray a sense of calm and the knowledge that we'll have an answer soon.
And then there's the question of the Supreme Court in all of this. You said yesterday, Senator, quote, I don't care if it's Judge Judy or Aaron Judge. I'm not voting for a nominee that comes out of an illegitimate process. What about this do you view as illegitimate? The president, well within his constitutional authority to put a nominee up for a vacant seat. Majority Leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, well within his constitutional authority to hold hearings in the Judiciary Committee. That'll be Lindsey Graham, but then to have a full vote in the Senate. So what's illegitimate about this process?
Willie, when President Obama had a vacancy in the last year of his presidency, the Republicans wouldn't even meet with the candidate, hold a hearing or hold a vote. And they announced this is the new rule. If there's a vacancy in the last year of a presidency, we'll wait and they said, let the American people decide. Over and over again, Lindsey Graham, the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, said, hold these words against me. If there's a Republican elected in 2016 and in the last year of his or her term there's a vacancy, hold it against me. We won't move to fill the vacancy. Let the American people decide. Now the Republicans have decided to reverse it. Why are they rushing? This is really important. Why are they rushing? I think they're rushing because they view this as their last chance to kill the Affordable Care Act. They've tried administratively, they've tried in the courts, they've tried on the floor of the House and Senate. They failed. But now they have a case that's being argued 1 week after Election Day. By Supreme Court tradition, if a justice isn't in the seat on the argument day, they can't participate in the decision. They've got 8 justices, 4 of whom have supported the Affordable Care Act, 4 of whom have voted to overturn it or been critical of it. They want somebody in that seat on November 10 to take health insurance away from millions of people, to deprive people of protection from pre-existing conditions. That's the big game here. That's what they're trying to do. And I'm not going to let them break their promise, bum rush a nominee to take health insurance away from millions of people.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.